We'll call this meeting to order. School board meeting, November 10th, 2025. Verification of meeting posted. This meeting was posted in accordance with all open meeting laws in the state of Wisconsin. Attendance roll call.
Chris? Here. Kevin? Here. Bob? Here. Terry?
Here.
I'm here. Lori? Here. Tracy? Here.
All right, we have a quorum. In lieu of the Pledge of Allegiance, we have some students here that are going to be performing, and I will let you introduce them. Please rise. All right, moving on to 1E, approval of the agenda. Motion to approve agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And on to number 2, recognitions. So we're going to do the Wisconsin Association School Board Business Honor Roll recognitions.
Well, it is my privilege and my honor to introduce a few businesses that have been recognized by our school board. I will openly admit my bias. I believe that the school district can and should be the heart of a very thriving community, and yet the reality of a school district is you can't survive and thrive on your own. You need incredible support from different communities throughout your system. And this evening we have several absolutely incredible examples of people who give up their time so selflessly to support our students and staff in countless different ways. So I'm going to turn it over to our board president.
Are we going to call them up?
Let's bring Husky Tree Service up first. Are they present? Okay. We will next go to Muskego Animal Hospital. If you wouldn't mind, please coming forward.
I just have a little bit to say about each one. The Muskego Animal Hospital has been an exemplary partner to the Muskego and our school district, significantly enhancing student opportunities through their generosity and dedication. Their support includes sponsoring school events and providing additional insights into veterinary science, careers, fostering a strong community-centered educational environment. Their involvement inspires other businesses and strengthens our community ties.
Next up, we have Taher. If you guys wouldn't mind coming forward, please.
Taber provides nutritious, high-quality meals with the diverse options to meet students' tastes and dietary needs, encouraging healthy choices through new food introductions. Chef Benny's energy and enthusiasm shine as he teaches students and staff cooking skills and introduces creative initiatives like the Food Truck Festival, inspiring students to explore culinary arts. We are deeply grateful to him and Taher for their dedication to enriching students' lives through food and education. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We missed our photo op. Next up, we have our incredible Test Corners Fire Department. You guys wouldn't mind please coming forward. We're going to have our football team, our cheer team, our dance team, our cross-country team, our soccer team, and everyone else that you've given tours through our city as you escort our students out of town, lights and sirens. But I apologize, we're still practicing, trying to win another state title. But thank you.
Our volunteer fire department consistently goes above and beyond to assist in the education and safety of our students. They are always eager to provide valuable learning experiences related to fire safety, emergency response, and understanding when and how to call for help. Their involvement extends beyond the classroom learning with career fairs and hands-on demonstrations. In addition, they enthusiastically support our school spirit by escorting state-bound athletic teams and conducting celebratory drive-bys during football and soccer games. The Test Corners Fire Department is truly an exceptional partner and a treasured member of our school community. Thank you. You want us in the middle? Thank you, you guys.
Thank you.
And I don't believe Lava Kava is here. They're probably all pouring concrete as we speak, aren't they? They're still working because it's above freezing. So we will get to that in December.
We're going to have them back. Okay, then I won't read. Okay, so now's the time for public comment. I have one person, Denise Whitting-Stuckert.
I just wanted to ask about the incident regarding Bailey and the Kelly Services employee. I understand the contract with them needs to be looked at. And as a teacher, I honestly don't even know how often my district even does a background check and all that on me. But more so, my concern as a parent is when, or like how soon and what the training is going to be for the staff at Bay Lane. Because that man was let into the building, and I'm only guessing he came in contact with many Bay Lane employees, and he was there for many hours before anything happened. And I have a young child that he was left in the care of and can walk like him. So I just want to know what that training is going to look like and how soon it's going to happen, so this never happens again.
Okay, thank you. Todd will be going over a little bit of that in his section of the agenda, so hopefully your questions will be answered. Otherwise, you can always reach out specifically and have further conversation with Mr. Irvine. Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion or individual item that you would like to have removed for individual consideration? I just had one question, Jeremiah? There you are. On two of the reports, it just said something about they were unable to take attendance again, or it said still unable to take attendance. So I don't know what that's on the high school one and the middle Muskego Lakes one. Okay. It was on the, what you learned or on that part of the report. Something about Raptor.
Yeah, sometimes when students go to school at two different schools, Raptor gets a little bit wonky when they're trying to take attendance, because it'll show them, say they're at Muskego Lakes, but they go up to the high school for math. A teacher here might get a notification about a lockdown or vice versa. So there's a little bit of clunkiness that we've been working through.
Okay.
Specifically with the product that probably anybody that uses it is having.
It sounded like they still were able to take attendance. It was just whatever that mean. Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Student representation.
Okay, I'm back. At our elementary schools, Bay Lane had their Veterans Day Assembly, and they invited families and veterans to come and were able to speak on their experiences. On November 24th, they're going to be hosting their turkey trot, where families get the chance to walk or run at the track at Bay Lane. Lakeview Elementary will also be having their turkey trot along with the Veterans Day breakfast and assembly. The UWM baseball team has also started weekly visits at Lakeview classrooms to spend time with the students, which the students love. And finally, at Mill Valley, the PTO has started the Coin Wars, but with a Minecraft spin, which is so cool. Coin Wars is a friendly competition between grade levels where they donate coins, and some coins count for your classroom, some coins vote against others. At the middle schools, Lake Danoon, Mr. Papson has organized the Veterans Wall, where students can submit information and a photo of a veteran to honor. At Muskego Lakes, the middle school has announced that their musical this year will be The Little Mermaid Jr., which is so cute. And the Muskego PTO has also organized its seat raffle, where families can bid on front row seating for any events that they choose, like 8th grade promotion, choir, concerts, musicals, stuff like that. At the high school for clubs, NHS is hosting their annual blood drive on Thursday, November 13th from 11 to 5. The drama club also wrapped up their productions of Frankenstein and Dracula, which were a huge success. For sports, 2 weeks ago, the boys and girls cross-country teams had their state meet. We are all so proud of them and their great work this season. Our girls swim and dive team is also on their playoff run, as they had their sectional finals this past weekend. And of course, our football team has advanced to the next round of playoffs, where they will be playing in Oshkosh this Friday. So we are so proud of all of our fall sports for ending their season strong.
Go, or, superintendent report.
That's okay. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce the principals of Muskego Lakes Middle School to give their annual update to the board. So thank you, Rachel and Nancy.
That dinner was awesome, wasn't it? Oh gosh, nicer dinner than I've had in a while. We're very lucky to have Todd here. We were talking at our table about the lunch food we used to eat. And there was like a TikTok, is it, or something about the recipe for that pizza. Anyway. Well, thank you for being here. In case you missed it, we have some art on display. We partner with the Lions Club every year for the Peace Poster Contest. And so some of the winning entries are in the entryway on your way out, in case you got a chance to see those. And then special thanks to Miss Milton and our 7th and 8th graders who were super excited to be here tonight and sing for you also. And we are excited to share about Muskego Lakes. There's so much that we are proud of. And you're going to hear quite a bit tonight about what we're proud of and our growth areas and what makes this place special. But underneath all of that is really just this relentless belief we have in these kids. And so hopefully that shows through. Rick DeFore is a go-to in education on PLCs, and launching PLCs here was really foundational to all the work that we do. Just that collective effort to pool expertise and figure out how to help all kids learn is really what we all show up here every day to do so. To talk about a few of our strengths and success, I believe report cards are released tomorrow. But we did get to see the embargoed ones, and we're really excited for you to see it as well. We're really, really proud of the work we've done and continue to be at the top of the state. And especially a point of pride is for that target group, that bottom 25 percentile, and the rate at which we are growing those kids is something we're especially proud of. So we're excited to celebrate that with students, staff, and families later this week. Specifically, we monitor data and celebrate it in many ways. So I'm going to show you a few examples of what that looks like. This in particular is 5th grade literacy. The RL and the RI is literature and informational text. And those are the priority standards in 5th grade literacy. And we track the percentage of kids who have mastered those standards over time. So there's 3 iterations of an assessment. And then over time we can track to see what's happening in between, and then how many kids have reached mastery, and then we align that data to our universal screeners like iReady and Forward. But tracking that local data is really easy for the teachers to be agile and flexible and responsive to student needs. Another way we track data is by student, and so within PLCs you can see students and their progress over time, and a report actually goes out to families as well after each priority standard, where you can see how your child did on those 3 in-class assessments. So then the PLCs track their steps that they take in between those assessments to see what's working over time to help more students reach mastery. Another way we look at data is teacher variance, because when we place students in different teachers' classrooms, we want to be sure that they're going to grow regardless of the teacher they are assigned. So here you can see on the top table, the students who are red are developing. That's in that lower bank. It's called developing on the Forward exam. And we actually look at that down to the teacher. So our kids who are red on Forward growing, no matter the teacher they have, and those are the kids who need a lot more scaffolds and supports to reach an access grade level. And then at the bottom table is our kids who are advanced. And that's the same. We can look at 2 teachers in a PLC and see, are they growing those kids at that high band? And when they're coming in spring at 47% advanced, by the next spring, we're moving them. So the students at both ends, we track that data really carefully to make sure we are helping all students learn. Another data point we're really proud of is, and so on iReady, which is our universal screener, we would expect kids from fall to spring to grow, because in fall, It's the 7th grade skills and standards, and by the spring they've been taught them, right? So fall to spring you'd expect to see growth, but the real measure we use internally is spring to spring. Because if they can maintain that from spring to spring, we know they're actually growing over time. You could grow fall to spring every year and not actually make gains. If you look on the left, you can see like the 4th grade cohort to the 5th grade cohort. If that percentage stayed the same, those kids would grow 1 year. So anything above that percentage shows that we're growing them more than a year from spring to spring. And so as the kids end up higher in the spring, we have to raise the bar for rigor and make sure we're continuing to challenge them so by the next spring they continue to grow. So we're really proud of that data. I believe it was 2 years ago here, a growth area I spoke about was our students with disabilities on the forward exam, and we had some gaps. And they were not growing or showing mastery in the same way that the rest of the kids were. And just because you have an IEP does not mean you cannot read at grade level, do math at grade level, engage in critical thinking, all of that. And we believe that about the kids, and we're really proud of the county ranking that we were number 2 and number 3 for our students specifically with disabilities. So part of that, some of the things that have led to our success, as I spoke about, our professional learning communities that are a lot of time, sometimes 2 to 3 hours a week, and that doesn't include the common planning that they're doing for kids. They're analyzing data, they're responding to that data, and then they're designing learning opportunities based on that data. And so those PLCs are a lot of work. There's culture, right? There's data analysis, and then there's the design of learning that's a result. And so we care for those PLCs and give them time and help them grow. We also have a focus on universal instruction. I believe 93% of the kids here get what they need in Tier 1 instruction, and that's another point of pride. You can see from, if you follow the circle around, the teachers teach the priority standards, they assess, they intervene, they assess, intervene, assess, intervene. They continue to do that until kids show mastery. And we were presenting a group of teachers in Green Bay at a state conference this summer, and maybe 200 people in the room, and they were like, but how do you do that? Like, who's the special ed teacher? Who's the aide? And the teachers were like, what do you mean? We do this. They're like, but who's working with some kids and not others? And the middle school teacher's like, we do. So they're working with a group while other kids are working on something else, and they use data to work with kids. And it's really cool to see. I know a few of you have come to check it out, but the teachers do this cycle in a class with up to 30 kids, and it's really cool because the kids who struggle really need that content expert to be the one who's helping them. So rigor I spoke about. As the kids continue to come to us, more kids proficient in advanced, we have to continue to consider what is rigor. It's not more work, it's not giving them extra homework, it's building that critical thinking, letting them engage in productive struggle, not rescuing them, building their stamina through complex text. And so we continue to explore what that looks like and how to help students continue to stretch themselves. And then personalized action plans. Our students, we're really big on learner agency, and so they set goals 3 times a year, and the teachers confer with them weekly around those goals, so they monitor that progress and then reflect on how they're doing, and they really are in control of their learning. They are part of setting their weekly progress monitor goals, and we believe it builds engagement and autonomy here, especially for middle school students. And then a few growth areas that we have, some of our continuous improvement journey, is there's new updated Pearson curriculum, really 5-8, but it's a bigger jump for our 5th grade teachers, and that's a tremendous amount of work from Courtney and Anita, all their support. Vertical time working across middle schools to orient to the resource, to use it well and strategically. And then we're in a ELA curriculum review, so considering how to integrate reading, writing, speaking, listening, with our focus right now, which is a lot on reading. So how do those strands all work together in a comprehensive way for students? Our PLCs this fall looked at gaps in the forward exam. It's the 2nd year in a row where our students had the same state test. So we're able to look at what are some gaps we noticed and how could we adjust or tweak some of our current systems to account for those gaps. Our social studies and science teachers have Article of the Week. So every week, the students in social studies and science engage in grade level complex text where they are reading, annotating, analyzing, and writing in response to that text. And so just building that content literacy is something we continue to add rigor to here in all the social studies and science classes. We're piloting a number of tier 2 interventions for those executive function skills that all students need, especially with the middle school brain. And so we are piloting to try to figure out what's working and how to help all kids get some of that executive functioning, but then specifically kids who need a little bit more or extra. And then we have an all-school goal setting protocol for attendance. So we're not only focusing on the students who have 10 plus, but we're focusing on all kids. So they can chart how many days have I missed, what's leading to me being gone, when I'm gone, how do I get the work, and they're all setting goals. It's not just targeting that small group. So really trying to continue to strengthen that whole child approach with our tier 1 for all kids. And Nancy's gonna share with you all what makes our school special.
Thank you. So we wanted to first highlight just kind of our culture of our students and the connection that they have. Every fall, we go ahead and survey kids to see, like, how are you doing? Like, what do we need to know about you? And we are proud to say that at the time, right away at the beginning of the year, 98.5% of our students indicated they had at least one friend here at school. And then we had our school counseling team and our student services team check back in with those that said not. And everyone now does have somebody that they would indicate is a person they're connected to. And on the flip side of that, we always ask if there's an adult that they can go to if they need support. And at the time of when we gave it, so incoming fifth graders, new students, we had 97.8% of our students say that they felt connected and had an adult in the building that they could go to. And again, anybody that said no, our student services team checked back in, and all of them have been able to identify somebody in the building that they could go to if they had a question, needed support, or had a need to get some extra support and help. We take a lot of time and energy to invest in our students to know that we are all in this together, kind of our one warrior approach, and making sure that our students know that they belong here, that they can reach out. We're investing in community days where we build connections between students that are setting a foundation for the work that we do within our classroom. Okay. The next part, and Rachel spoke a little bit to this, is the learner agency that we have in our building. We want to make sure that students know that their voices are heard and valued. So we look at how we can integrate that into the learning environment here in the school. So some of the things that you see on the pictures up there are thinking classrooms where students are making their learning visible and apparent to everyone. That leads to some very deep discussions and intentional feedback from our teachers. We have student-led skill groups where students are taking over to kind of showcase what they have and give each other feedback. We have peer mentors that lead one another, learner profiles that indicate what are students' interests, what are students' wants and needs, and how do they learn best. And the big thing is that our students have a voice. So students will tell us exactly like, hey, we're interested in this, could we get this? Some of our clubs are from that. Some of our activities at our lunchroom, such as our lunchroom karaoke, or if you see on there, they did a ring toss that was candy corn themed. So they come up with all different things, and we try to make that happen, not only to let them know that they have a voice here, but just kind of like to build that initiative skill that is kind of that underlying for our students. It's one of those soft skills that we want to try to promote. Another big one that we try to infuse in everything that we do here, because middle school is such a pivotal time for students, is to explore what they're interested in, explore things that they didn't even know existed. I mean, I wish I had some of the opportunities that our students did when I was in middle school, but we're really looking at how we can build out that academic and career planning and make it part of what we do in everything. It's not just something that happens once in a while, but the natural touch points. So you can kind of see from the pictures up there, we are always making sure that our students have authentic, engaging experiences to learn. So we bring in guest speakers, we have career fairs, we have students tracking their progress and their portfolios. Students are getting authentic ways of building their own businesses, creating digital media projects in all aspects, but we really kind of highlight a lot of that experiential learning in our encore or special classes, which is exposing students to a ton of different ideas and careers and working to make sure that they have experiences in all those career clusters. Another aspect of what makes our school special is our staff culture here. Last year on our employee engagement survey, it was a new baseline, but it was still at 4.41, which is a really great score to have. We are proud that some of our highest categories were things like, I believe that the administrators in my work environment care about my well-being. The work that I do has a meaningful impact on the lives of whom I serve, and that they are recognized for the work that they do. We really think that that speaks volumes to not only how our staff view each other, but how we work with them. On professional days, we take time to learn together, build connections, and invest in our staff so that all educators feel supported, inspired, and when they do, our students are thriving because of it. So this intentional focus on people and their purpose has created that aspect that when you come here, people want to be here and they want to help kids. Beyond the school day, we are so fortunate that we have over 30 co-curricular opportunities for our students that get them not only in their passion areas, but also exploring new things. Things such as Fab Lab, where they're creating, Creative Writing Club. We have Generations Club, as you know, that goes over to Tudor Oaks. So we're always looking for different things, but these are opportunities that not only help students discover those passions, but also help us strengthen our community partnerships. We also just want to take a moment to recognize our PTO. They are relentless ensuring that our school is supported. Can't say enough amazing things about the individuals on this. They run many different ways for our families to be engaged with it. So pastries with parents, they invited parents in. It was a great experience having a ton of people here in the morning before school, just like getting to talk and catch up and meet new families. They do something similar to what the elementary school's doing with Penny Wars, where they come in and they make like a fun competition. They have trophies that the kids get. I don't know if some of you were here or not, but they pulled off an amazing craft fair again that benefits our school. And so that is a lot of time and planning that they went into that, and it was a lot of logistics, and they made it seem like nothing, to be honest with you. They also go through making sure that our families have spirit wear, can know about fundraising nights in our community with different businesses, and making sure that our staff are taken care of with like our midweek munchie snacks, which the staff greatly appreciate. It's a very small token. They're an amazing liaison for us, so we just want to make sure that you guys know how filled with gratitude that we are for all the work that they do and they continue to do for our students. And every meeting, they're always like to myself and Rachel, what else can we do for the kids? How else can we help your staff? And so they have a service-led focus at all times.
And if some of you have been to a middle school PTO, it's not 30 or 40 people, it's like, it's a small group that are carrying over.
And then finally, we just wanted to say on behalf of our school staff, thank you to each of you for all that you do to ensure that Muskego Norway Schools continues to thrive. You guys do a lot behind the scenes to ensure that we're all running well, so thank you.
All right, any questions for our Muskego Lakes team?
I think you guys do a phenomenal job trying to get the kids involved and stuff. When I came and watched they were trying to sell something to the group of kids, and it was like a hairbrush, and they were trying to explain exactly how that was going to work, and just the interactions and the questions that the kids were asking, you could tell that they were completely engaged, which is nice to see. You guys do a good job. And I want to know what the teacher is doing in the one picture with their head in the, like a, it's like in a bowl.
Oh, that was a competition where they had to try to eat cereal without their hands. Oh. And she did it the fastest, and there was nothing left.
It's practicing.
Good way to mix up the learning, like really intense learning, and then like a 20-minute challenge, and they're all laughing or whatever. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's awesome.
And she was like, her hair was like dripping with milk too. So. It was like 9 a.m. So it was a long day left, but she committed.
Congratulations on all your success. That's incredible. Great job. Is there anything that our board can do to help you guys continue your work?
Continuing to support already what you do. I know what we could call you if we needed you, and being here is super cool. I know I'll be with you. That's what I care about. It's really fun to see, I think, for the teachers.
Excellent. Any other questions?
Again, a thank you. That example of the learning you provide for your staff is the way you model things for our students too. Your intentionality around connecting hearts and mind. Learning is a social process, and when people feel cared for and believed in, great things happen. And you two exemplify that in every way in the way you interact with our staff, our families, and our students. So thanks for your incredible leadership. Those results are not lucky. Those are because of your leadership. So thanks for your dedication. All right, our next up will be our Buildings and Grounds report to the board and a presentation of our capital plan. So thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Hey, everybody. Here to talk a little bit about facilities and all things, but first I wanted to start with a shout out to our team that's sitting here to the right. So this picture here was a really cool celebration this year where Tony Camacho, second from the left, was recognized as a Compass Award recipient. So super special time. We do a lot of great things in our district with our facilities and all things that happen inside the buildings, and it's because of these folks here. Quick funny story, so a lot of us engage in a lot of education outside of the school day, different conference opportunities, and I was teaching one, and persistently a guy would come up to me afterwards and say, hey, what do I got to do to work in your school district? And I'd say, well, catch me at a next time or something. And then the next conference would roll around and he'd say, hey, what can I do to get in? And so he's sitting in the middle on the right. So the power of education goes far beyond getting to learn things ourselves, but getting to know people in the field and then getting to pull them away from other school districts. So thanks, Ryan. Talk a little bit about the capital project fund tonight. So typically we spend about $750,000 annually to maintain our facilities beyond just general maintenance. So that could be roofs or parking lots or big plumbing things. They're really large projects. We've been, over the last 10 years, been able to increase it from $400,000 to $750,000, and not through expanding the budget, but through finding efficiencies to get it to that point. So we just rearranged where our money was going to be able to better invest in our schools. We have a parking lot fund at the high school that's about $60,000. Sometimes we have donations that come from partners or schools or the PTOs or athletic organizations. We have something called Fund 46. So for a long time, people would ask, why don't you just save all your money up and use all that money at one time for a project? That fund was set up so that we can roll money into it and take care of things like, say, our field turf whenever that comes due. So there's been progressively money that's been put in there. Some fun data on the side. Now that we have a lot of new facilities or expanded facilities, we're able to really put together the data about how much facility we have. So we have over 1 million square feet of facilities, and in Muskego, that'd be equivalent to 604 homes. But what was more impressive to me is it's more square footage than the US Bank building, so that's kind of crazy. We have 254 acres, 1.6 million square feet of parking lots, 38 full-time facility staff, 3.5 grounds workers, 1 driver, 1 PAC worker who also does our board meetings, and a partridge in a pear tree. When you look nationally, what the norms are for spending on capital projects for schools would be one of the bottom line items is $3 to $7 per square foot. So looking back at the last slide, we're at about 75 cents per square foot. The reason that we're able to really get by with this right now is because a lot of our facilities are new, and they'll be coming due more so in 20 years than they are now. So we're in a really good spot right now with our spending. One of the really cool projects I wanted to share was this one. It came together through some business partners, La Licata, through the Storm softball organization, through our own grounds team, through the athletics budget, and the building and grounds budget. We were able to create a really cool batting cage for the softball team and really just completed the stadium out there. And our students say the new batting cages have elevated our softball stadium, turning them into a premier training and competition environments in the area. We were also able to redo the track this past summer, and that included going all the way down, taking the asphalt down, and then putting 8 coats of track surfacing on top, which should have about a 20-year life. There will be times where we'll need to come back and fill in patches and keep up with the maintenance of it, but it was really due, so we made do for it with as long as we could, and the athletes and the coaches are super appreciative. There's some fun quotes there. We identified the stair railings at Bay Lane needed replacement, so we put in some new stair railings. Also notable are the stair treads. We actually purchased stair treads last summer, and we hope to put them in this upcoming summer. Those tend to come up, especially when salt gets in, so those are about 25 years old. Through the athletics budget, we were able to replace the soccer scoreboard, and here's a couple quotes from them, and we just know how awesome they've both performed over the last few years, so we continue to try to make improvements to the field. We're doing some repairs to their dugouts right now, our maintenance crew is, and just continuing to look at ways to improve the field there. We have new carpeting over at Lake Danoon. It's the only thing we can come up with to exemplify the carpeting at Lake Danoon. This past summer, we did roofing projects at Lake Danoon as well. So the far bottom left wing was new roofing. We tried a new approach that we haven't done before. We usually hire an engineer that draws up a bid doc, and then we hire them to hire somebody else. And so we managed the project in-house, saving 10% on the roof itself, because usually it's a percentage of the entire project. We also reused the insulation that was there, so as long as the insulation is good, we don't have to replace it, so that saved a good chunk as well. The only part remaining at Lake Danoon is the gym roof, which we would hope to do this coming year. Also, these are 15-year roofs on paper, but this school is built in 1999, so we've gotten 26 years out of the roofs. And that comes through a good management plan. That doesn't happen by accident. We also seal coated the parking lot. At the high school, we also did 2 roof sections there. Whoop, ah! Oh, there it is. Hey. Oof. All right, we did 2 roof sections at the high school. One was above the PAC and one was above the administrative office. And you could see a smattering of in-between area where really we have an infinite amount of roofing that we need to start attacking over the next few years, because most of that was put on in 2002, 2003 when we did the additions there. So we're progressively looking at ways to do that. This is another view of the high school roof. So green is good, dark green is real good because it was just done. Yellow is questionable, and the orange are the ones that we should start looking at for the coming years. This coming summer, we were looking at section 9, and then the tallest part of the PAC I can't see from here, but those would be the sections we would try to do next. At Lakeview, we replaced the last section of parking lots, so this has been piecemeal together, brand new parking lot since 2018, but you can see each year it was done because it's a different hue. You can also see where we had to cut in some drainage from the expansion. So this upcoming summer, we're hoping to be able to seal coat the entire lot, and it will look brand new because there's no cracks or anything in it. So for potential projects, and this is all pending where our budget sits and where everything comes back, but we would be bringing any of these things back to business services for approval in the future. Be a few roof sections, in total of about $500,000. We've talked a bit about our tennis courts this past year, so our goal would be really to fill the cracks that are in the playing surface, like not the expansion joints, but the ones that are running through the courts. We found a company that can fill them and paint them to match, so it's probably going to be a year-to-year fix, but $4,800 is better than $1 million, so we can see how long we can nurse them along. We have some aging floor scrubber equipment. We have folks that are trying their best to keep things nursed along, but we'll need to eventually replace some of those. Seal coating the high school at Lakeview using the parking lot budget and some capital project budget. The stair treads at Bay Lane. We're going to defer the Salentine Gym resanding the floor. Usually about every 12 years you resand and get a new coat on. And then just late last week we were awarded a solar grant, so we're learning what that means. but essentially they awarded us 84 panels for the high school, but we would have to buy the matching panels in kind and then have them installed. When we built the high school expansions for the STEM edition, we did reinforce the roof and we made it solar ready. So we have to study what the ROI is and how much that is and where those funds come from. But it was exciting because we never get grants. At least I never get grants. Some good news, we've really, over the past, since we opened up the high school, been able to focus a lot on processes. So this was a celebration. We spent a lot of time focusing on our facility rentals, our process, our billing process. We estimate last year we were spending 20 hours a week just trying to solidify our facility rental process. So we have a whole new platform, a whole new user interface, and you can just see that since the start of the year, we've had 4,100 events, over 11,000 hours, and it's broke out. The darker circle is actually outside entities using our schools. So this truly articulates that we are like a community hub where people use our facilities all the time. With that has come an uptick in revenue. So just a few years ago, we were at 101,000, and last year we were at almost $240,000. So helping keep the lights on so we can keep allowing the community to use our stuff. This is a staffing plan using best practices in the nation as far as custodial, maintenance, supervisory staffing, and really small print up here so I can't read it right now, but we're operating at about half of industry average for having 1 million square feet. And I don't say that because we're asking for anybody else, but I'm saying that because we're doing an amazing job with what we have. So we also survey parents, students, and our own staff on how we're doing as far as cleanliness goes. And on a 5-point scale, some of our schools have literally scored a 5.0. So we are just so thankful for the work happening in the schools. Even on a parents' satisfaction survey, it was one of the highest things that came back of all things asked of our parents. And I think that that's great because of the investment that we've all put into our facilities to get to where we're at, and we all take great pride in them. A little bit about what our staff does. We've been doing, by we, I mean Tim, has been doing a great job of tracking how many work orders we do, the hours it takes to do it. And this past year we did almost 2,800 work orders with an average response time of 2.9 days. So when a teacher expresses a concern, depending on the severity of it, usually within a few days it's fixed. And then we also started tracking our setups. So anytime an event comes in that says we need things set up and ready for whatever event we're having, we had 1,300 hours of setups. We tracked the custodial time to do that, and it's close to $80,000 to take care of all of the things that come into our facilities. One thing we're trying to get really good at is selling things online. So occasionally we'll post something on Wisconsin Surplus. Ryan has been doing a great job. He's a whiz at Wisconsin Surplus. So this year we made almost 14 grand in just selling things that were broken. So if you're in the market for broken things, see Ryan. So a couple challenges we've had, and I think the whole world is experiencing this, or at least our region is. I took all of the services that we must have in our system, so alarms, trash, compliance items, contractor repairs, plowing, lawn mowing. I took all of our main vendors over the course of a 10-year period and looked at year-to-year spending, and we were always hovering around this $750,000 mark, and over the last 2 years we've bumped up to $1 million. And that's something that we can't attribute to having a new addition to the high school. That's all new. That's not getting serviced or fixed. These are just an uptick in inflationary costs to have the same services that we've had for years. And we're seeing the same trend with electrical. Now there can be some attributed to having expanded spaces over the past year, but really we started to see the jump even before we opened the wings at the high school. So we went from about $750,000 in electric to over $1 million. And on the bottom, I did publish, We Energies has not hid the fact that they've been upping their rates. 1 year it was almost 10%. And for some good news, we really take employee injuries seriously. Way back in 2013, Julie and I were tasked with trying to fix our injury problem that we were having. That year we had 14 injuries, and we put together a program. It's comprehensive, and really it is about caring about our employees. And so this past year, we've had 0 lost time injuries, and just 2 the year before. And the way this insurance works is it's really on a 3-year rolling average, so you're always carrying the past 3 years, and then a year will drop off. So we're heading into some decent years, should we finish strong, with potential savings of $50,000 to $100,000 a year in premium. So with the bad electrical report comes a good injury report. All right, that's all I got.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
Are you finding any pushback with the rental fees from people that are using it in terms of how much it is?
Yeah, I think there's always the notion that, like, because they're a community group, that we should just let people use things for free. And I get it, because we're all taxpayers, but there also is a point where we shouldn't subsidize events. And then once you start doing that, how do you pick or choose who? So we have a staggered approach to our fees, whether it's a community group or an outside group. But there always is pushback. The nice thing is the new system has them agree to an invoice before they even are allowed to come in, so at least they're upfront with it. Before, we would send them a bill, 3-4 months later, and they would always want to talk about it.
Are you finding that that's helping to kind of minimize that?
Yes, 100%.
I do think we have to somewhat think of the tennis court situation in the future,
Yeah.
because I feel like the Band-Aid situation's not gonna really work very long. Yeah.
Or Mr. Johnson? I will just close with a huge thank you to you and your team. Your commitment to utilizing data to help drive our decisions and really set up our system. A lot of this work has been happening for a really long time because of your innovation and actually setting up long-term plans. Like the roofs are something that nobody really wants to talk about that, but those are millions of dollars, and if you don't plan for those, they will cause havoc within your system. So huge shout out on that. Then also the other aspect of this is when we talk about being one warrior community, it means that every part of our system has to live, eat, breathe, and sleep commitment to our students and giving the absolute best that we can. And every one of the gentlemen sitting out there, when I walk into buildings, I'm going to talk about Mr. Anderson because we're at Muskego Lakes. Every time I walk in here, I see him high-fiving students. He knows students by name. Every one of you goes to the greatest extent you can to get to know our kids, and they view you as yet another resource in our buildings as a trusted adult. So thank you for your dedication and your commitment to keeping our buildings looking like some of the absolute best in the state. We have premier facilities because of a great investment from our community, and your willingness to take care of them is truly appreciated. So great work, guys. All right. The next agenda item on the superintendent's report is the information around the WASB Joint Convention. Just a reminder that the 2026 Wisconsin State Education Convention is scheduled to take place January 21st through the 23rd at the Baird Center in Milwaukee. If you are interested in participating in that, if you could please let Lori know, and she will register any of our board members. All right.
An email that came through for art exhibitors or art things, so I forwarded that to all the art teachers in the district.
Yeah.
Hoping somebody will donate or submit.
Submit. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Our final item on the superintendent's report is the guest teacher check-in protocol. And again, thank you for being here tonight, Denise, and sharing your questions and concerns. It does align very much with where we're starting the conversation tonight. Obviously, a horrible event occurred in our school system, and there isn't anyone sitting up here tonight who isn't disappointed and frustrated and saddened by what occurred. And immediately upon working through that process, the conversation very much centered on how will we ensure that this doesn't happen again. So I'll focus on a couple key points, and you asked some of these explicitly. First and foremost, the thing we identified is what type of training do we have for our frontline folks? What kind of training have they had around identifying someone under the influence? Grateful for the partnership with our Muskego Police Department, who has already worked with us to set up some training specifically to all of our frontline staff, and then some additional layers of staff at our December 1st Professional Development Day, so that is coming soon. Grateful for that partnership. The other aspect of that is what are some protocols that we can put in place if you are working in one of the frontline interactions? How might you respond if you interact with someone that you just doesn't check all the boxes for you. We talked a little bit at the Business Services Committee around sometimes people come in and they may be perhaps neurodivergent and maybe just not as good at eye contact or social interactions versus everyone's extreme and horrible nightmare of showing up intoxicated. And how do you interact with those folks? What questions should you ask? What should the protocol look like? So that will also be integrated into the training. Part of the conversation tonight talked about that will be an annual training, and it needs to be something built into our onboarding process. The other aspect that was raised very quickly, what does the background screening process look like? The reality is when you contract with outside services, you don't always have that much control over what external businesses do. And what we hear a lot is the industry standard of once a year evaluation of background screening is going to be the norm we hear from whatever provider we contract with. So what can we do internally to increase the opportunities we have to ensure anyone who's entering our buildings are safe? So we currently use a program called Raptor, which is explicitly or mainly utilized within our system to identify anyone who might fall under the sexual predator list. That is something that is being utilized anytime someone from our guest teacher program signs into the building. What we identified is that some places in our building, there's a wave of folks who come in and there might be 20 subs coming in at the same time. So folks were allowed to sign in on a list, and then as soon as they're able to get folks in and out, they then screen them through that. We are changing that practice to where it's you do not enter our building until you're screened through Raptor. Now again, that will identify folks that would be on the sex offender list. Our first initial kick at the can to find something that's going to help us more specifically with anyone who may have a warrant out for their arrest is working with one of our providers that we navigate through with our employees on CCAP. We have a list that we can upload, and we are going to be able to upload any one of our guest teachers into that, and we'll have daily notification of anyone who may have an outstanding warrant or some type of criminal behavior in the background that could provide another additional flag for us to ask more questions and look more closely at someone as they enter. We will continue to work with our guest teacher providers. We're meeting with other providers in the business world to see who else and what other options are out there. As we've spoken with many other districts, there isn't an easy answer as far as there's not a different provider for guest teacher services that is looked at as, yes, this is the best in the business. What we heard is, again, this is the industry standard. They evaluate their employees once a year, and our greatest hope to continue to elevate our expectations are what kind of systems can we build internally. So not only have we built those, we looked at what does our guest teacher check-in look like. We've talked a little bit about the shortage in educators. It doesn't matter what position that comes open. 10 years ago, you might have a vacancy for a teacher and you might get 150 applications 10 years ago. In today's day and age, you might only get 15. So the reality, if there are fewer teachers, there's also fewer people in the guest teacher availability. So what are we doing within our system to have the most robust guest teacher check-in, not only from a safety screening standpoint, but honestly as a recruitment standpoint, that if we get and when we get good guest teachers, and we do have a lot of them in our system that we're very grateful for, how are we checking in with them, not only when they're coming into our building, but also when they're leaving our building. So when different openings pop up, we have the best people saying, I want to choose to come work in the Muskego Norway schools because I'm met with by an administrator. I'm met with at the end of the day and asked if anything happened in my day, were there any student issues that I need support with? And the better job we do, what I'll say, re-recruiting our guest teachers, the greater the likelihood that we're going to continue to try to draw on the best people we can to support any gaps that we come up with. Really just grateful for the different feedback from different families and community members who reached out as we navigated this horrible situation. Certainly isn't anything that any of us wanted to face or address, but I'm really proud of the way our different teams responded and rallied together to identify how are we going to get better through this. And these are our first steps and iterations of things we're going to do to improve. And we'll continue to dig into these. Ms. Artson has some meetings coming up the next couple of weeks with other guest teacher providers. And we're going to make an informed decision before we get to that next contract. And we're going to continue to explore everything we can do because it's not okay to have that happen. Again, we're all saddened and embarrassed and hurt by what occurred, and we're going to work really hard to continue to repair and rebuild any trust that was lost with any family member, and our kids just deserve better. So, if there are other questions too, and I apologize, we're not typically responding directly to questions in the comment, please know a huge part of what makes our school system strong is the openness to come in and sit down and have conversations. Please call anytime, email anytime. I always hesitate when people feel like we have to wait to a board meeting to communicate. We're all here, board members included, because we care about this community and our students and our families. And I really feel grateful for the effort our board members make to reach out to family members. Or again, I always say, please, if there's something happening going in one of our schools, reach out anytime, and we're going to continue to work together to get better. Okay. Final thing I'll say on a much happier note, just a reminder that tomorrow is Veterans Day, and if you're able to stop by any of our schools, there's a bunch of different celebrations going on. It is really adorable to me. I'm a sucker for this stuff, watching our students celebrate and honor what I would describe as true warriors. We get a lot of questions about what a warrior is, and my first response is always, a warrior is someone who serves in our military, who fights and protects the freedoms that we have to be able to do the things that we do. So it's going to be awesome tomorrow to have the chance to have in a bunch of our students, family members who serve in the military and protect this incredible country we get to be a part of. So if you can make it, stop by. There's a breakfast at Lakeview and community days happening here. There's different things kind of happening throughout the system. So that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. All right, moving on to other reports. President report, I just, again, to say Happy Veterans Day tomorrow to all our veterans. We value you, and I hope that we continue to celebrate them in the schools like we always do. There are great things that go on. And then to just thank our administration for all the work they have put in for the situation that we did have at Baylane. I think, Todd, you and I have talked several times a day since this has happened. It's amazing the amount of time that everyone has put in and dug in and tried to find different solutions to this problem. And a lot of things happening and coming to board members that we're bringing forward. So we appreciate all of that as well. And I am confident that we will have a good solution to the problem. So, clerk's report.
2 at-large school board positions are up for election in 2026 for 3-year terms. Robert Bowman and Jason Zamborski. The notice of the school board election will be published in the Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 edition of Waukesha West County Now. Interested district residents who are eligible may file a declaration of candidacy and campaign registration statement at the Educational Services Center, S87 W18763 Woods Road, Muskego, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, beginning December 1st, 2025. The deadline for filing is 5 p.m. on Tuesday, January 6, 2026. A primary election, if necessary, will take place on Tuesday, February 17, 2026. The spring election will take place on Tuesday, April 7, 2026. If an incumbent is not running for re-election, a written declaration of non-candidacy should be provided at the Educational Services Center no later than 5 p.m. on Friday, December 26, 2025. The term of office for these candidates elected at the spring election is April 27th, 2026 through April 22nd, 2029.
Thank you. Board member reports. Chris?
Nothing.
Kevin?
Nothing.
Bob?
No.
Jason? Lori? Tracy?
CSS meetings tomorrow, and then we're going to Colorado for the ASA conference, so I'll bring back information from that.
Okay, thank you. Committee reports. No report from Educational Services Committee and Policy Committee report.
Just we're reviewing the NOLA updates this evening in the next section.
And Business Services Student Experience Legislative Advocacy Committee report. Please.
We worked through a number of calendars at our last meeting that are up for resolution action item and did a review of the health insurance plan design. That should be coming up for consideration in January. Or for the positions in January, so.
All right. Thank you, and thank you again for all of you that do all your hard work on the committees and your commitment to doing a couple of more meetings a month for those. All right, moving on to resolution action items. 26, 27 calendar.
Motion to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 2026, 2027 board calendar.
Motion to approve the 2026-2027 board calendar as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 2025-26 compensation.
Motion to approve a salary increase for all workforce groups as discussed in closed section.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Middle and high school academic guidebooks.
Motion to approve the middle school and high school academic guidebooks for the 2026-2027 school year.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Policy revisions.
Motion to approve the Neola changes recommended by the policy committee as presented.
Any discussion? All of the policies under each one of these are listed in the agenda. We're just not going to read them all because there's a lot. So please forgive us, but they're all in here.
And just noting that the policies were fully reviewed in policy committee and discussed over the past 2 months.
Thank you. Any other discussion on? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. You can just read it.
For the next motion, motion to approve the Neola changes recommended by the policy committee as presented.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And letter G.
Motion to approve the Neola changes recommended by the policy committee as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Gifts, grants, and bequests.
Motion to approve with thanks the following donations as presented. Muskego High School, $4,000 from Donna Vaness to go toward the purchase of the Epson Power Elite for the PAC projector upgrade. The Muskego High School activities, $160.40 from Sunfish Ventures, Lakeside Shell, $6,000 from Muskego Youth Football to support additional huddle cameras. Muskego High School choirs, $600 from John Baumgartner, $1,542.42 from from Friends of Muskego High School Music Makers for the choir retreat. Muskego High School Band, $2,085.80 from Friends of Muskego High School Music Makers to purchase carts for the mallet percussion. $500 is an anonymous donation. Muskego High School Dance and Palms, $300 is an anonymous donation. Muskego High School Football, $1,000 from John Daly. Muskego High School Robotics, $6,300 from Regal Rexnord. Muskego High School Skills USA, $275 from Wimmer Brothers Realty, $250 from Nary Milwaukee Foundation. For Milwaukee High School Girls Swim, $2,295 from School of Bark, and $125 from Southwest Aquatic Team. Muskego High School Boys Swim, $125 from Southwest Aquatic Team. Muskego High School Makerspace and Art Club, $250 from MIAD, Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. Muskego Lakes Middle School, $125 from the Women of the Moose. Muskego chapter number 1617 for a student whose family needs financial assistance. And finally, Muskego Lakes Middle School Ski Club and Snowboard Club, $1,000 from Steve and Amberly Check for the Muskego Lake Middle School Ski and Snowboard Club for students who participate in the club who need financial assistance.
Need a motion? So moved. Any discussion? Thank you. Yeah, it's a huge list. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I do just want to give a shout out to the music friends. They also did a fundraiser for the flood relief fund, and they did a gift card drive, and they raised $1,300 in gift cards that we were able to distribute to, I believe there was 27 families in Muskego that applied for assistance for that fund, and we were able to include that in the funds that we pushed out to them. So that was very, very nice of them to do. Okay, moving on to number 10, discussion items. We have none. And then information follow-up, there you are going to have your monthly financial reporting and your support staff co-curricular hire resignations and retirement list. And on to number 12, motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.